What is going on, guys? Somewhat destroyed voice George here, bringing you, well, my experience at Wrestlemania 40 weekend. So, everything is now said and done. Everything is complete from an independent show in New Jersey to Monday Night Raw. And holy cow, what an experience it was, and there are people out there that I have met, I have chatted with, and I can't say nothing else but thank you for being there. And it was just all around a fantastic time. And I am freaking tired. So if I sound tired, well, if I sound like I lost my voice, well, I did. There were numerous wrestling events I went to, from non WWE related to WWE related, and it started Thursday night, and I just dropped off my friend not too long ago to his house, and all around it was just a fantastic time. I sound like I'm recovering from like a sickness or like a lot of screaming, and if you watch WrestleMania 40 at home, you probably would be recovering as well, because holy cow, what a freaking time it was to be a fan. And I could go on saying about like how the matches were and play by play of the matches, but like it's just recommended to go watch it yourself. They truly pushed the Paul Levesque era, because Vince is no more. We don't have to worry about Vince, and we don't have to worry about anything that could push the company backwards. It looks like everything's going forwards with the Paul Levesque era. And I, like many, are just super excited to see what's going to happen. Um, few things I like to mention as well. Like I said, thank you everybody for showing up at the event that I encountered, because it was just a lot of fun talking to you guys. It was also fun to be in that big atmosphere that WWE has been basically building for decades to make WrestleMania such an iconic moment and an iconic show. And just all around, it was very, very enjoyable. And even if like you're watching at home or you were there in person, like you're gonna get the best results, especially for a show like this. It was just all around amazing. And I can't believe it's over. My goodness. Because I remember almost a year ago, I bought tickets to this show. I bought tickets for nights 1 and 2. And then my friend went and got the tickets for the other 3 events. And all around, like, it was just fantastic. I'm having troubles, like, trying to explain it, because, like, everything happened so fast. But it was definitely worth it in the end. So how the experience itself was, well, like I said, Thursday night I went to an independent show over in New Jersey for 5-Star Wrestling. It was held at what's known as the Monster Factory, which is basically a wrestling training school, and it really looked really nice. I got there and we sat in the bleachers, and the bleachers kind of bothered us for a bit, and there wasn't an intermission, but it was a lot of fun. And something I noticed as well, for a Thursday, there were quite a bit of people there. I understand that maybe a possible WrestleMania weekend was kicking off, so they wanted to do something prior. But it was interesting to see a lot of people there, despite it being during a weekday. And that just shows the passion that wrestling fans have, especially around this time. And the matches themselves were really, really great. Two things I remember the most was a women's tag match. I forgot most of the competitors' names, but one of them I remember in particular was Nadia White. And she played as a heel, and she did something. And I'm like, hey, that's not nice. That's mean. And the the babyface tag team that was like right in front of us looked at me. They're like, yeah, like what's wrong with her? What a bitch. And it showed that for a while that I was basically a hype man, because I knew none of these wrestlers, yet I was hyping up the entire crowd like I was there for a long time. Now, me personally, I go to many independent shows when I can. And I've had the opportunity to know some of these people after shows, and I was able to build that bond. Not only build that bond, but build that trust to help out with maybe like someone they brought in, they want to have to get like a quick pop or cheap heat. So at least there's something going on, because the struggle with independent shows, in my opinion, is there are so many other things that you could do during that time frame. Like you could have went to somewhere else, or you could be looking at your phone, or anything else than to go watch these people in the lowest. I hate saying this, but like the very early days of wrestling for these guys and gals to the independent circuit. And the indies are very hard to get a crowd, and when you have someone that tries to help hype up the crowd, it does send a message to bring more people in. So I kind of did that with 5-Star Wrestling. I've done it for other places too, but I was basically like a hype man to try to help out the crowd get ready. And for the most part, they were on board with that. The other thing I remembered was, I can't remember the dude's name, but his voice was purposely supposed to be like very high pitched. It reminds me of a male type of Vicky Guerrero, where he ran out to the ring, and went, "Excuse me," kind of like that, but like a little higher pitched. And his character was represented as like the commissioner to New Jersey wrestling, or some type of like higher up of the New Jersey commissioner, I think it was. But overall, like 5-Star Wrestling was a lot of fun. If you go like to their Facebook or 5starwrestling.net, you can see if like there's a show happening nearby. They're mainly in New Jersey, so if you're in the Jersey area, or you're willing to drive like anywhere from like 30 minutes to an hour, that's some pretty good wrestling, and it's in a really nice area. The atmosphere of that Monster Factory kind of reminds me of the 2300 Arena, where it's like very, very warm. Very, very unexpectedly warm, and that's like that wrestling feel. So there's passion in New Jersey. So if you want that type of like passion but don't want to go to Philadelphia, just go to like Monster Factory, New Jersey for an upcoming show. So now we're gonna go talk about the WWE WrestleMania kickoff and Friday Night SmackDown. And right away, I'm just gonna say it, I am in a shot during the kickoff. So yes, I was on Peacock. It was like a very brief second. It was before Rhea Ripley got announced to make her way out. Me and my buddy were just standing there, and you could tell who is who because obviously you see me here. But because I was one of only few that brought my spinner belt, and I'm gonna bring that up in a second, but I want to mention all the fun stuff first. So when we were there, we talked to a bunch of people, and this was the same day where around the Philadelphia area and other parts of the East Coast had dealt with an earthquake. And it was always back and forth on like who felt it and who didn't feel it. And I didn't feel any earthquake happen. And I'm getting like calls and texts from people saying if I was okay, if anything broke, or anything of that matter. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Nothing happened. And that led to people finally saying, oh yeah, there was an earthquake. And I saw it all over social media. If it wasn't hyping about WrestleMania, it was mentioning about this earthquake on social media. And it was funny because everyone, again, it's always like one or the other. And for one of them, I'm like, I didn't feel a damn thing. We're talking to a bunch of people, And then we get started for the kickoff. And, of course, there's McAfee, Cole, all just chatting up about WrestleMania. And then they're trying to, like, hype everything up to where they have some of the people show up that we're going to be competing. And then hyping up that Friday Night SmackDown, which was happening that night as well. And for that, like, a lot of moments were like just really cool to experience a big, kind of like press conference in a way, but for the public, and it was free with the exception of paying for parking. And you're able to enjoy yourself, basically getting a last second hype for WrestleMania if you weren't going to SmackDown. It was kind of the same vibe for SmackDown that night, and in fact, I found this out when I was talking to my friend as well. When LA Knight was cutting a promo, they put a camera shot to where like he was kind of like in the middle, but the camera was pointing more towards left. I was shown out in the crowd. Again, I'm the one with the spinner. So that was cool to find that out. Actually, I found that out earlier today when I was heading home after dropping my friend off. And it was very, very fun to do that, and it was very awesome to see. But then, one of the biggest moments to where I actually kicked myself, and I kind of still did. Now, I kind of repaid myself, sort of, but I was still kicking myself when this happened. So during the Hall of Fame, after Paul Heyman did his speech, which real quick before I continue what I'm about to say, Paul Heyman's induction was amazing. And you had to be there in person to see it all there because, of course, they censored on Peacock. But overall, like, if you were there live and you saw Paul Heyman's induction speech uncensored, it was crazy, like in the real good way, and like that got you hyped up. Like you knew this was a new era, this was a brand new beginning for WWE, and it like that Paul Heyman promo started it. So that's how you get real hyped up on that. But back to this story. So during Bull Nakua's induction, I was starting to fall asleep. Because I work real early, and I just started my vacation, so while I was definitely excited to be there, I was starting to get really tired, so I decided to go walk around the entire arena to kind of like get myself awake. As that was happening, I ran into Simon Miller from What Culture. Now, I'm not gonna go over on like, I'm not going to be like overhyping it, but I am a fan of What Culture Wrestling. And I really like Simon Miller for the stuff he does. Like he also brings out a lot of fun in wrestling as well. But anyway, so I started walking around and I run into him. The problem was I was still very tired and I couldn't put my 2 cents together until he had already left. When he left, I'm like, wait, that was Simon. And I was pissed. But then I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'll run into him again. And spoilers, I didn't, which sucks. But, I mean, it was cool. Like, I saw him. And I still kick myself in the back because I wanted to take a picture with him. And it didn't happen. But it's not the end of the world. Because on his Friday Night SmackDown ups and downs, me and my friend, we were walking away. And as we were walking, he decided to, my friend Mike decided to turn around and do like the Rock On pose like this. And it was caught on camera. And my voice was kind of already destroyed, but I was able to yell out loud, give it an up. Now, if you've watched that video and you heard like the last 10 seconds, the guy turns around and goes, "Oh, that guy just stole my gimmick. I have to go sue him." That was to me. I was the one that said that. So technically I got around it, but I was the one that said it. I think I even commented on the video that was me. Which is kind of sad because nothing else really happened. Like what could have happened was I could have ran up and got to him and said, "Hey, listen, I'm a big fan." And the guy that said "give it enough," that was me. The one you were joking about the gimmick and all, that was me. I was really tired, blah blah blah. But I can live with that, knowing that while I may not have gotten a picture with Simon, I was able to kind of make my presence known in one of his videos. So, Simon, if you're watching this, hi, big fan. And that was me. But anyway, we're talking about WrestleMania 40 Experience, baby. So we're going to get back into it. And going into right away the next morning for NXT. And oh my goodness, I did not realize how over Trick Williams was. Like, I barely watch NXT, but it was part of the package deal, and we're gonna go. It's NXT, especially because while a lot of NXT events were always like a good thumbs up, were always like one of the best shows that they could have done, WWE. The ones at Philly seemed like they were more impactful, and this is WrestleMania, so there's gonna be even more impactful. I just gotta say, like, all around, that was a great time, and I was like, this is why NXT is one of the best, if not the best, developmental out there. One thing I will mention, and this was actually kind of funny, was something that happens later on. There was this kid that was sitting in the same row as me and Mike, and the crowd weren't like quiet, but there were times where like they want to watch the action before reacting, so like there was a little bit of quietness, but it picked up right away. But especially during the Roxanne Perez match, this little kid just kept saying for every 5 seconds, "You suck, Roxanne," and then everyone else around started chanting, "Let's go, Roxy," and it was just so funny because like every couple seconds the kid's like, "You suck, Roxanne," and like that was one of those moments where you're like, some people will find it annoying, but it's a kid. She's a little kid. She's clearly got fans. Like, I did the same stuff when I was a kid. The only difference was that it was at a live event in Delaware in 2010, and I'm standing there on the barricade because the security guard let me go to the barricade, not over, but like to it to grab onto the barricade, and I yelled at Dolph Ziggler saying that he sucked. I accidentally touched the belt, which I pulled back right away because I'm like, oops. And he knew I didn't mean to do that. So like nothing bad happened, but it just reminded me of that with this kid. And like the kid was adorable. She did it a lot more at Raw. But like at that point I'm just like, kid, have at it. You know, it's the last thing of WrestleMania weekend, so go all out at this point. But overall it was a great thing. My favorite match of that night has to go to Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes. They went everywhere for this. We saw prior that some people were being told, "Hey, do not step over this or you're going to be immediately thrown out." That's how you know that they were going to do a crowd spot. And they did. And it was worth it. Like, every single part of it was great. Overall, like, it was just fantastic. I couldn't ever picture Trick Williams, especially when I found out that he used to be a player on the Philadelphia Eagles roster. Now, he never made it to like the official team, but he did have an Eagles uniform at one point. So that's how I knew like Trick Williams was going to go over in this match. However, just all the hype around him, and even prior, I just knew like whoop that trick. Okay, whoop that trick, which was amazing. And just with him getting the 3 count, it felt like Wells Fargo Center just had an earthquake. They had a second earthquake, and it was because of Trick Williams beating Carmelo Hayes. And kudos to Hayes for helping out, put out a great performance. Like that all around, that was great. I don't really have a bad match per se. So I'll say, I guess the opener with Corbin and Breakker for the tag titles could have been like not the weakest thing, but like, no, that's not really a weak match. I'll have to think about it before I come up with a weak match for that, because all around, like, NXT was just a great show. And then the night one of WrestleMania, and I'm going to get it out of the way. Yes, it was cold, okay? The first night was very, very cold. So you're hearing from someone who has been there, and we could say, yes, it was very cold that first night. Which is probably why you didn't get a lot of cheering, because I know there were people on Mania group chats or any other like online chat involving wrestling. They're like, why is Mania so like the crowd's not into it, this and that. It's not that we weren't into the matches. It was because it was cold. Like Mania Night 1 did what Mania Night 1 should do. Put out matches that are good, but have like the big stuff for the next day. You can still have a few things here and there, but have like not the weaker stuff first, but like have decent stuff first and then go big for the second night. And that's what they did here. Just all around a great experience. I know there was one match, which is definitely going to be my worst for the night and probably for the whole thing, which I'm sad about, but it unfortunately happened. But beside that, like, it was fantastic all around. The atmosphere was great. And literally, it was a fantastic experience. I keep saying it over and over again, but like, it was amazing. Like we sat down, and we were maybe where my hand is, go all the way down in that direction, and we could see the ring. And if you look up, you would see the Jumbotron. And then when you turn around, here was the stage, which was awesome to see. Because the stage, people complain about the stage not having things like the Liberty Bell, but when you watch it on Peacock later on, during the stage, there is a virtual Liberty Bell right there. So, I mean, at least they did something with the bell. I was a little shocked they didn't do anything, but it's something that they did, and it happened, so we can't really fault them for that, because at least they tried. But overall, like I said, it was a great time. I met a bunch of people there. There was this one kid in front of us that wanted to talk a bunch of things during the show, and for the most part, we talked to him, and we were like, it's your first Mania, you gotta enjoy this stuff. And one thing I said to him, because he said he wanted to possibly become a wrestler, I looked at him dead in the face. I said, buddy, you put in the effort. You're going to be able to do it. You're going to make Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and The Rock bow down to you. And like he lit up. So like that was a feel good moment for me personally. With someone his age, I think he was 7, 8, I think. And this happened. It was just a great experience for him, and it was just all around was a fantastic thing I wanted to mention. So overall, like I said, first night was pretty good. They did what they were supposed to do for night one, I believe. My favorite match of the night was going to go, obviously, Gunther, Sami Zayn for the IC title. It was a fantastic moment. Sami Zayn finally, he pulled the Rocky story. He pulled the Rocky story and defeated Gunther to break, go figure, the 666 day title reign of Gunther with the IC belt, and now Sami has it. I love the idea that the whole thing was based off Rocky 3, which I thought I didn't get to that at first, but after watching the promos and the hype video for the match, I'm like, this is Rocky 3. And my friend Mike was mentioning too, like, yeah, this is like a Rocky 3 thing. I'm like, I know. I just thought about that. But overall, like I said, it was a fantastic match. And now I gotta talk about my least favorite match of the show, which is going to be Jay versus Jimmy Uso. It's so sad because Jay's so over, and Jimmy, he kind of gets over, but I felt like he needed that extra push. And like this match wasn't really good. It was kind of short. It was very short, and it just was a couple super kicks, a fake out to beg for mercy, and then spear, spinning, Uso splash, 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's kind of boring, which I feel bad for because I liked both Jay and Jimmy. But unfortunately, I had to give them the worst match of night one, probably the worst match of the entire show. So there's all that. And something I want to mention here real quick because this really annoyed me personally. Now, of course, during all the events, I walked in with my WWE spinner belt. I had mentioned it before on here, where it was my favorite belt of the Ruthless Aggression / PG era, because that's where I started watching it in late 2008. My one big gripe. Now, I don't know if anyone else who has brought the spinner belt has dealt with this. I'm okay if you ask me, can I spin the belt? Can I give it a quick spin? Sure, go ahead. Like, I'm holding on to it. Yeah, give it a quick spin. Yeah, spin for luck. Let's go. I hate it. Because this happened once, 2, 3, 4, like 4 or 5 times. Someone has come up to me and said, oh, can I? And start spinning it already. I'm like, no. No. I don't have a problem if you want to, if you asked me, hey, can I spin the belt? Sure, go ahead. I spin the belt, and that's great. But if you're just someone that walks up to someone and just spins it for good luck, I'm going to be like, what the hell's wrong with you? It just seems like, I don't know, it seems like people seem entitled to just touch anything that they see. And that just really bugged me. That rubbed me the wrong way for WrestleMania. Everything else was great. But it was just those situations where I'm walking around with the belt and someone just like comes up and tries to spin it. I'm fast forwarding to Raw real quick, but I had someone who tried to take a picture with like holding the belt. I thought they meant like I couldn't understand them. And then they were like, oh, take picture, take picture, take picture. I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll help you guys take a picture. So those two were going to take a picture together with like the Raw sign in the back. No, they want to take a picture with the belt. And I'm like, oh, no. And the guy got upset with me. And I'm like, dude, I don't know you. Okay? And also, I know someone's going to come out saying, oh, well, you probably let this guy take a picture with the belt. I did. But because I allowed it. When some people show up and they just want to like grab it and take a picture. No. You ask me first. And if I say it's okay, go ahead. Now, if it's like one person going, hey, listen, the belt looks cool. Is it okay if I take a picture with it? And I'm like right there, sure. No problem. But when you show up with like a group of people and they want to take multiple pictures with the belt, no. You get one and that's it. If it's that much of an issue, go get the thing yourself. Was it pricey? Yes. But if you want to take pictures with it, go get one yourself. Save up or wait for specials, then go get it. That's just my little rant real quick on the belt issue. It mainly happened night one. It didn't really happen any other time. I think there was like one incident on SmackDown, but I'm just like, dude, it was weird. It was weird. Well, on to night two. So, night two, oh man, so much happened. And all around, it felt like it went very, very fast. Now, night one, it did kind of seem like things were slow. But maybe it was because, again, they were trying to really hype up things for night two to make it even more interesting. And then night one, it was like pulling small punches. But then night two, and everybody just started going all out. That was a fun thing with night two. And Cody Rhodes finally finishing the story. It made sense in the world. And sometimes it takes a bit. Like, I know people back in Mania 39 were all upset that Cody didn't win the belt then. Sometimes waiting another year makes it even more impactful, because they were going to do something big for 40. Like I said, they were hyping up this Paul Levesque, Triple H era. And now here we are. And it just works perfectly. This was all around, like, this was one of the best Manias of all time. Definitely up there. I would say top 3. I would have to actually think about all of them before I could say, like, okay, here's my top 3. But it's definitely up there. Definitely a top 3 Mania. Like I said, night 1 was a little, it took a little bit, but that's okay, because I think that's what they should be doing. And then night 2 went up in the stratosphere. It was amazing. My best match of the night, it was overbooked as hell, but I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. For my least favorite, I'm going to have to go with I'll go with the Philly street fight. I'm not saying that the match was bad or anything. It was just how everything was set up prior to then. Like, the story didn't make sense. It didn't seem like anything was going to be done. But I will say, having Bubba Ray be the special guest referee, turning into a Philadelphia style street fight, so of course EC dub chants everywhere, was amazing, and all around was just fantastic. And met up with a few other people, talked to them a bit about the history of wrestling and stuff they may have known or stuff that they didn't know, and same thing vice versa. It was like a good way to talk about pro wrestling. It's not like, oh, my stuff is right. No, my stuff is right, and they start butting heads. There was none of that here. It was equality at its best when it comes to pro wrestling. Some people have different opinions. As long as you can respect other people's opinions, you can mention about your own, is what I like to mention. And it's just, I hate the fact that a lot of people still think there's a big war between WWE and AEW. I like wrestling. That's how I see it. I like wrestling. I like both. Could there be things that both promotions could do a lot better with? Absolutely. But am I running out any of them? No. So I just move on and see what they have available. And now something that I wanted to mention before we get to Monday Night Raw, and I am going to have a lot of people who actually do this are going to hate me. And it involves this WrestleMania Prime bottle. Now, after night 1 and night 2, you can when you're leaving the venue, there were stands that gave out C4s and this Prime bottle. I'm not the biggest fan of Prime. I've had a few other drinks before, and I never really liked it. The one that was in here, I liked, though. And so I looked it up, and I found out what flavor it really was. And I just cannot stand scalpers. I hate scalpers. The ones that get things like this, and sell them for way more than what it's offered. So, yes, you get these for free. But why would you sell them for like $100, $200 when literally you're just getting the outside of the bottle? That's the only difference with this Prime. Okay, you're getting the outside label. It's a WrestleMania themed Prime. You're getting the outside label different from this flavor. This is the Meta Moon flavor. It's just in a WrestleMania coating. It literally tastes the same. And like I said, I'm not a fan of Prime, but I will say the Metamoon flavor is pretty good. So if I recommend any flavor, it'd be Metamoon. But yeah, that's something that also irritated me is I'm seeing these on eBay to go for $200, all because it's a WrestleMania themed bottle. Did I ruin scalpers? I hope I did. Because I hated them in 2020. I hate them today. And now for Monday Night Raw. The final piece of the puzzle for WrestleMania weekend. I kind of sat back with this Raw. I cheered a little bit, but as you see, my voice is still recovering. So I didn't go like balls to the wall over cheering or booing. I just enjoyed myself at that point. Like I said, I did some here and there, but it was just a fantastic weekend. And I met so many people. I made some new friends. I honestly had the best time of my life in a long time, and this wouldn't be possible if WWE decided to not come to Philadelphia. It was just great experience all around. If you do get a WrestleMania within your area, I highly recommend see it. Well, is it going to be a little expensive? Yes. But if you plan it right and you save money right, you'll be able to get your tickets to go to WrestleMania. And like I said, it's 100% worth it. And I hope you guys enjoyed WrestleMania 40 like I did. Because, oh my goodness, this was just fantastic all around. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know I've been blabbering for like almost 40 minutes about WrestleMania weekend. I wanted to do something for this. I have ideas for some series I want to do coming up. But I just wanted to mention how WrestleMania weekend was and all the excitement I had as a whole. But, all right, this is George. I want to make sure my voice is fully recovered, and I will see you guys later.